Hey, what's up, YouTube? Gaming family. It is K-Rod here. I'm back with another good video for y'all today. I just figured that I make this video to talk about League of Legends ranked gameplay and why League of Legends ranked is very terrible. But as far as the game itself goes, League is a great game. But I figured that I give you guys some tips and tricks on how to succeed in your ranked games in League of Legends. So this is my season 12 tips for ranked in League of Legends. So let's get right to it. So for those of you that are interested of getting into the climbing and ranked, whether that may be solo duo or ranked flex, however you guys want to, get better. I personally do rank flex because I feel like rank flex has a higher scaling and skill level, and more people care about team play. Uh, like usually for the most part, but most people like some people fuck around and rank flex and do some stupid shit, but for the most part, ranked flex games usually end up becoming competitive and balanced to the level of whatever elo that you could think of. Personally, for me, I would say rank flex is a really good mode, simply for anybody that is starting out in the game, and you could actually understand what your playstyle is, what type of champions do you like to use, and what makes you turn into a good player in the situation of a league game. So for League of Legends, it's usually the laning phase that you have to get through to hyperscale your champion. And the biggest problem that a lot of people tend to have is learning how to farm and learning how to understand your matchups and learning how to push out your waves so you could have lane pressure prior. And what I mean by that is that you can pressure out your minions to the towers to push your team to victory closer. So therefore, the biggest issue with League of Legends ranked is that not a lot of people really care about the macro basics of the fundamentals of the game. For me personally, I do, but I don't really focus on the how should I say, on the kills. I usually care more about the objectives because objectives help you win the game faster. So like if you want to get the game done in 20 minutes, you have to go for everything. You have to go for the Rift Herald. You got to go for the Baron Nashor. If you want to push out your minions and make them stronger, so that way you could split push faster for waves. You have to think about the dragons. You have to think about what dragons are coming up. You have to make sure that your wards are planted everywhere across the map, so that way you can have lane, pressure to push out your waves smoother, so that way no one's going to gank you from anywhere in the jungle, especially from really good high level class, junglers like Hecarim, Nocturne, Rengar, anybody that you could think of that is high tier in the jungle, champion category. But my tips for playing ranked is that I would definitely find a main. Find somebody that's good in your skill level department of where you believe that you could scale good without the best champion out there. See, now, for me personally, I usually main Mordekaiser and Nasus, but I don't really use Mordekaiser as much into ranked games, just simply because, like, if I want to get through, like, all the crazy low elo bullshit with batshit insane players, I just run characters like Tryndamere or characters like Scion or anybody that can scale pretty well early game. Well, like anybody that could scale very well late game, because I like to be like the tank, but I like to also have high damage coming into a team fight. So my usual picks that I go for, I usually play a lot of mid lane now. I don't play a lot of top lane as much because I personally don't like how top lane is structured, where you have to be sitting in top lane all by yourself, and you don't really have too much of a power spike until you hit level 6, or you get some good early lane kills to help you scale better as a player, but Top lane is just like the type of lane where a lot of people kind of fail to, understand what to do in the situation. And now that top lane has kind of been, nerfed to the point where you don't really have that much of a option to do the things that you want to do, as far as like teleporting to a team fight on time, making sure that you can get objectives faster with the jungler, and just making sure that the game overall is going to be won by your own parameters. But I think either way, it kind of makes all the sense in the world of why people believe in that. Hold on, give me 1 second. Hold on. Just give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back. So, basically, the whole point about choosing particular champions that you want to main is to make sure that you can get it, you can have like a good, comfortable segment coming into your games. So that way you don't have to feel outgunned facing a very difficult matchup that could take you down. Like, personally for me, I like to, definitely take it easy in the early game. But then in the late game, that's where things can get really bad. Because if your teammates are feeding and they're not having to focus on the game and they're just playing toxic and not being careful in their decision making, because that's why macro gameplay is so important, and same thing with the micro gameplay. That's what causes your team to be toxic and start blaming other people for stupid shit that people shouldn't be responsible for, or people shouldn't be doing stupid shit for. And there's just too many idiots on League of Legends where you probably have children as young as 16 years old that probably play the game, or even younger. And I mean, if they're not smart enough to actually know what they're doing in a game, and they are going to be toxic towards you, and then they're going to start acting like douchebags, then that's where League of Legends falls off, and that's where the whole game itself is a absolute nightmare. So I would definitely say for my for my other tip for playing ranked is that you have to have a good mental. For me personally, I personally have a good mental, and I don't really flame a lot of people because I technically have everyone muted in the chat, because I don't see the need to be talking to people in ranked games when I know that I'm better than a lot of people. And I will say, when you do start out, you definitely really need to just, come into your games, expecting the worst coming to worse, because no matter how well you think you're playing, your team is still going to do something stupid, to the matter of somebody's going to feed, somebody's going to give up dragon opportunities, and someone's going to do something stupid to the point where your team is just going to fold and nobody's not going to win. See, now, I recently had 4 bad games in a row, all due to teammates that were mega inting. And I will tell you right here, I had 2 games with Sion, 1 game with Nasus, and 1 game with Tryndamere, in which the Tryndamere game was absolutely terrible, and my teammates were absolutely feeding to the fucking balls, or to the fucking ball sack. But I will tell you my stats right now. I was playing Sion, and I went the usual hole breaker strategy with the Sunfire and the, Ionian Boots and, Ravenous Hydra. And, I was doing pretty good. I was playing Sion, I was playing Sion top lane, and I faced a Tahm Kench, a Lee Sin, a Brand, and a Ezreal Yuumi bot combo that faced my Vayne and Soraka bot lane, which the Vayne did pretty decent, but he just folded late game and he started being absolutely retarded. And this guy had to be a fucking low elo scumbag, Yeah, he's a silver 1 in ranked solo duo, and he's a silver 3. 17 wins, 70 LP, and then 33 wins, 90 LP, and he was a fucking silver last year. So yeah, he's definitely a retard. But basically, how the MMR system works is that it only works backwards to give you shitty teammates that don't play around your playstyle, and your team basically doesn't work together, because I guarantee you in rank flex it's more about the team play, and you run into so many people that are like those type of people where they think that they're good, but then once they meet somebody of higher elo or just higher skill set, then they start, smashing you. But a lot of the elos that I've been playing up against are usually gold elo and platinum. So I will say that the elo competition is very high, closer to almost like a low peak diamond level players, but I don't think I'm gonna be there yet. But I mean, I was doing good earlier today, where I actually had like, one good win with Tranamir, and then after that, I had a good win with Nautilus support, and then after that, I didn't really get that much games in. I only played like 1, 2, 3, and that was at the Yone game. That was horrible. And then 4, I won with Trinamir, and another 4 lost. So I mean, I had like a pretty bad day, simply due to the fact that teammates just didn't want to work together, and the game was already lost from day one. So either way, I mean, looking at my stats, like my stats aren't bad. It's just that, well, actually, no, like my stats, like, they weren't bad when I was playing Scion top and mid in my first 2 games, recently. But the Nasus game that I had was really, really good, which ended up being a complete throw. And then my Trinamir game that I just had recently, not too long ago, I had a bunch of dumbass teammates that just inted, and we just had to F15. And I don't like surrendering. That's another big thing. Try not to surrender until your teammates, prove themselves to be absolutely useless to the point where you need to surrender, because there are games where you can come back. And I do believe in the theory that every game is winnable in League of Legends. Also, try to make sure that you take a break in between. You don't want to be playing ranked games while being tilted. I personally have a very good mental to handle the amount of tilt that people try to bring to you, in a post-game chat. But like I said, another good tip that I would definitely include to say is that you definitely need to mute your team. The minute you get into a rank game, mute chat, mute everyone. Just type in / mute space all, and then everything will be muted. The emotes, the pings, mute everyone. So at least that way you could be more focused, you could be more relaxed, you could be more calm, and even even if you're doing shitty, you don't have to look at what your team is saying to you through pings. And always make sure to turn off the chat. Definitely turn off the chat. Having chat is useless, and I really wish Riot could really just get rid of just talking, keyboard chatting. They could just include voice chat on, voice chat only, because at least that way, that would make the game so much more smoother. People can communicate a lot easier in competitive games, and that way people know what their playstyles are. And before anyone tries to come up in here trying to tell me, oh nah man, having voice chat would just create so many people wanting to make death threats, and basically it, having that type of toxicity level will just turn into Call of Duty servers. And I'm like, no, not really. I mean, honestly, Call of Duty servers are easy to be fixed. And, the thing is that you just mute, the living shit out of people that talk shit to you, in a Call of Duty game. But the difference is between League and Call of Duty is that League of Legends requires teamwork, but it also requires like, communication level IQ. And if you don't have communication level IQ, then you're not able to win your games properly as a good player, because, no matter what you try to say, oh, top diff, bot diff, jungle diff, that doesn't matter. What matters is that you need to have a good high level IQ coming into the game, and you have to make the proper decisions coming into a game. And how I can definitely relate to that is that in my first game with Scion top, I was doing pretty good at first because I faced a Tom Kench that was absolutely garbage. And by the way, my team was, ultimately inting. We had 30 kills and the enemy team had 47 kills, 30 deaths, by which we killed them 30 times, and 97 assists. But basically, the damage charts right here, I was doing like the least amount of damage. And well, actually no, Soraka was, and then the Vayne, she was doing really good, but she was just folding in several team fights, and she was being a absolute retard. So that's really, what costed us like the game to lose, in which a game that we were actually doing very well at first, and we were very close to actually winning. But the amount of deaths that my teammates gave up, the Xin Zhao jungle went 8 and 8 and 6, to which, that's not bad. But at the end of the day, when you keep giving up more kills, you're gonna end up getting everyone killed a lot easier because you're inting to the enemy team. But the Galio mid lane, he went 3, 11, and 14. The Vayne went 15, 11, and 4. The Soraka just purely inted 0 and 8 and 16. And then for me, I was Scion top lane, but I went 4, 9, and 12. But usually for Scion top, Scion doesn't really have too much of a effect, for killing him. So it's like I can actually int because I get rewarded for getting killed. But it's always important to try to build up your items as fast as you can. And for my case, Scion was like a good matchup going into Tom Kench, even though that I was actually not building, with the proper items to actually try to split push a lot faster. But I was doing very good in this game to the point where my teammates basically blew it, and I just didn't have the proper team with, like basically the proper team to uplift my arsenal as a character to actually win the game. So that's pretty much why we lost the first game. And same thing with the second game. We had a Dr. Mundo top lane, a Nocturne jungle, and we had a Tom Kench, and we had a Senna support. I don't understand how the fuck that comp worked, but that was an absolutely terrible team comp. Well, actually, I wouldn't even say that. Our team comp was actually good, but how we lost this game was that the Hecarim, he did absolutely shitty, but he actually was doing good enough to kite, our team, because, we had just like a bunch of tanks, and pretty much we had 2 assassins through Senna and Nocturne. But the problem is that they had Aerie mid lane, in which this Aerie, she wasn't even that good either. This guy was like a what? This guy was like a silver 4, and this guy's a bronze 4, and this guy's not even that good. He's a bronze 4, he was a silver last season. So it's like the mass majority of people in silver elo pop up a lot, but they're not that good of players, because you can easily tell like that their playstyles are just really just dog shit abusive, tactics type of, elo level playing. Because, the thing about ranked is that you have to just understand your matchup. When you don't understand your matchup, then that's where you end up losing, and then you end up doing some really batshit insane things where people end up flaming you, or you end up flaming other people. But that's why I would highly advise for you to not have all chat on or team chat on, especially just talking through the keyboard. Don't be doing that. Always have that off, because that's what's gonna mess up your mindset to potentially lose, the game. See, now, back to what I said with finding a main. If you have a bad team comp through your team, and let's just say, your team is just absolutely garbage with the potential team that could possibly beat you with let's just say a Camille top going into I'll probably say a Garen top, and like your jungle is like I don't know, like your jungle is some garbage jungler that no one doesn't play, like Skarner jungle going into a whatchamacallit, like a Lilia jungle. And then the mid lane is Vex going into um I'll say Annie. And the bot lane is like Caitlyn and Thresh going up against a let's just say a Draven and I don't know, some other support that's not that good. I'll probably say, like a Janna. Like, try to not dodge a lot, but when high elo players try to, argue for the sake of dodging, like due to a bad team comp, I would definitely dodge and definitely study the team's matchups in those characters. And if you're able to win that game, then go for it. But if you're not able to win that game, I would highly advise dodging, whenever the time is needed. And then if you need to sign on to like another account just to keep yourself active enough to avoid the dodging queue timers, to be longer, then definitely go for that, because that's what Riot, rank systems, usually do. If you dodge one game, you have to sit down, or you have to basically be, matchmaking restricted for like X amount of minutes. And if you keep doing it again, they keep expanding it, and then eventually you get penalized. So definitely try to dodge, at given times, to make sure that you are getting the opportunities that you need to get. And if you're able to dodge, then I would dodge, when it's necessary due to a bad team comp. So like, if you know that your team is not going to win against a potential team comp, then I would definitely not take advantage of it. But 9 times out of 10, if you feel confident enough that you know that you could beat this potential team, then go for it. Nobody's not stopping you. If you know that you're good enough to win, then go for it. But the problem is that not a lot of people understand matchups, and if you're gonna be blind enough to not understand what your matchup is about, then that's what forces you to get outgunned in the team fight, or just in a 1v1 situation. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My final tip for ranked would just basically be, make sure that you understand your limits as a champion that you select. And obviously, the thing is like, League of Legends is not like Call of Duty, where you could just go 50-1 in some game. You actually have to understand the limitations of your champion. Obviously, there's some bullshit in between, because there's just champions out there like fucking Yone that will just 1v5 an entire team with very few items. But if you're like juiced to the gills full build, then you still get your butt whooped by some lower level character that didn't farm enough, for their, item, like, for their itemization of builds. Then yeah, that's where Riot really needs to fix their shit, and they really need to start creating, level gaps of when you're fed as a character or fed as a champion in a game. You should have kill pressure advantage when you're fighting somebody that's a lower level of you. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't really have that much else to say. I mean, if you guys have some other good tips that you have for ranked, by all means, go for it. I mean, the questions that you may ask me, oh, well, do you have like a certain goal that you want to go for in ranked? Honestly, I really don't give a shit because ranked in League of Legends is already like overrated, and to the point of it, it's like you're really not accomplishing anything. But what I will do with it is that I'll make content for it, and I mean, if I could just show you guys like how bad ranked really is, or how good that I've gotten facing tough level opposition, um, yeah, like I'll definitely do that because, I actually like to create more content, through League of Legends and create those type of videos where I could have like my rank series, or if anything, I could just do videos where, I show I showcase certain characters with certain builds, and I can definitely give you guys some good little clickbait titled videos, so that way I can draw some more casuals. And then if the channel gets big, I could start running like my own, custom games, through live streams and shit. And then I could help people out, with, like with whatever, that they want to do, through certain games. So, I mean, either way, like personally for me, if I really want to be serious about it, I wouldn't mind hitting master on rank flex because I like flex a lot more than solo queue. But if I could do it on solo queue, I would definitely like to hit master on solo queue, just simply because like I think inside my head that I know that I'm good, but it's just that you have to just understand like the game, and also make sure that you have like a good Wi-Fi connection, because obviously, some people in the world are not financially capable to actually have good Wi-Fi, and I'm pretty sure there are some like little kids out there that probably live off of like their mom and dad's like Wi-Fi, and but their Wi-Fi isn't like the best out there. But try to make sure that you're playing with a good connection, because there will be those games where you think you're actually doing good, but the minute you get into a team fight, the net coding on a certain character can create certain bugs and glitches. So if you have like an airy mid, and like you think that you're doing good, there will be those like certain glitches within like a team fight where you don't know if you're you don't know if like your skill shot's going to land on time. So always make sure that your ping is really good and you're not able to go through any lag spikes, because there are certain points within the league servers which I really hope Riot can fix one day. But obviously they're Riot because they're mentally retarded idiots. But if they could fix up on the net coding lag spikes, that would definitely help the game grow. I think that's what causes a lot of good competitive games to be thrown out the window, because you may think that you're doing good, but if your teammates are trying to get into a team fight and they're not able to get their buttons off on time, to which that's what causes them but the game, that's definitely what ruins the experience of playing the game. And I've had those instances where I play Mordekaiser and I ult somebody and my ultimate doesn't proc properly, where somebody does like a shitload of damage on me, and you know oh, I'm not able to get my ultimate off on time, and that's what costs the game. So I think that's something that Riot definitely needs to work on and definitely fix. The Wi-Fi capabilities, because that's really what makes up the game just worse. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have any good tips and tricks on playing ranked? And yeah, just tell me, like what type of champions do you like to play, and like what lanes do you think actually make like the most impact? I personally think jungle lane is actually like the most difficult lane, but obviously when you have like a good jungle on your team, that's what causes victories to actually occur easier. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, yeah, so I'll see you guys later. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, and peace out. Bye.